Alright guys, it's time to get into these not so good endings, starting with the unrequited love ending in chapter 4 with low romance and low corruption. And let's see, recapping, going through the skipping, they still were forced to admit their love to each other thanks to Toshi, and the kitten teasing has still gone on, and now they're talking about whether to smooch or not. So let's get this train a-rolling. I don't know how I'm going to do with these because I cried during the good ending. So let's see how painful these are. Alright, when the time is right, we shall smooch. I mean, when the time is right, it'll feel a lot better for the two of us, right?
Yep. We don't have to rush into things.
Oh hey, look Soma, snow's beginning to fall.
It's beautiful. It explains how I can see my breath.
Say, I'll pour us some hot tea. We can bundle up together, okay?
That'd be nice. Thank you.
Aw, that was still sweet. So like, I can't do it. They had a nice tea bundling, watch the snow day. They really are like kittens in their alone time. Alright, so now we just gotta go to the next choice, which is the Bloodlust episode, which means we gotta get to Nomura's death. Oh. Gotta go through that again. Barf. My poor sweet boy. And of course, with that choice, we'll still give him blood, because we've got to keep that corruption low for this ending. We're getting close to this boy's route. Cosmo's not that far away anymore. I'm so excited for that. And of course the official narcissist is next too, so... lots of good things ahead as we're getting towards the end. And yes, I'm talking through this to distract myself from the sadness that is Nomura's death. My poor boy. And he gets disrespected by a Bloodlust episode immediately after. Let me grieve for him! He was so pure. Alright. Give him blood. And then, the next and final choice is getting news about Toshi. This was a long chapter, actually, now going back through it like this. I'm like, man, a lot happened in the final chapter. Soma's route was surprisingly long. I guess because they had a lot more historical stuff to do with him. But it was still surprising. Alright, here we go. Although my voice had been nagging me to press him for us to go after Hijikata, I stayed silent. It wasn't my place to urge him, nor did we have any idea whether or not Hijikata had even lived.
I plan on searching for Hijikata. Miss Yukimura, will you...
It was as if a switch had been flipped. An intense glow shined in his amber eyes, and I was certain it meant he'd found his purpose. Of course, I'll go with you. We should take this with us. Let it fly as a symbol for our fellow soldiers. The Makoto flag.
Absolutely. You know me too well.
His other choices are still so sweet with him. He's so nice. What a good boy. Alright. So the passing on of chiefdom still happens. Miki should show up now. My poor boy Miki, too. Didn't have any real resolution. I hope he found his purpose somewhere. Well, no resolution for you in this ending either. Uh-oh. Oh no, are we not gonna have our smooching things? Oh, that makes me sad. Well, here we go. Later that evening, I stood apprehensively in front of Soma's door. Soma, is it okay if I come inside?
Yes, come on in.
I entered to find Soma wandering in circles around his room, and neither of us spoke. I felt as though saying the wrong thing would put our feelings at odds, so I hesitated from letting myself say anything too rash. But eventually, Soma chose to break the silence.
Miss Yukimura.
Soma gazed longingly into my eyes.
Tomorrow, I plan on accompanying President Enomoto to surrender as chief of the Shinsengumi.
Right. I almost wish that he wouldn't have said so, as if ignoring the thought stopped it from being real. But the promise he'd made to Hijikata took precedence over everything else, and I couldn't live with myself if I interfered with that. Or so I told myself to keep my heart from shattering.
You deserve better than me. I want you to move on and find someone else.
His words struck me like an icy dagger to the chest, and I felt dizzy taking them in. Happiness without Soma made no sense to me, as I'd built a hollow fantasy of our future together with our relationship in mind. His earnestness was one of my favorite things about him, but tonight it betrayed me. Telling him so would only make this hurt more, so I bit my tongue and went along with it. Oh, you guys are both hurting each other unintentionally. I see. Okay. Thank you for your friendship throughout all these years, Soma. I will never forget you. As the words left my mouth, Soma stopped himself from choking up and cleared his throat. Aww.
I'm the one who needs to thank you. Without you, I wouldn't be who or where I am today. I can guarantee that to you. If things had unfolded differently, I would have given my life to be with you.
Even now, he wooed my heart with his delicate charm. Yes, if things had unfolded differently, then perhaps we could have basked underneath the starlight. But life was pulling us in separate directions, and I had to accept this to give myself a chance. Oh, okay. Good luck, then.
Yes. Good night.
His eyes were full of sorrow, tender as the night as they lingered upon me for another moment. Man. No kisses. No fun times, no nothing. Then I slid the door shut behind me. Oof. The Boshin War had begun with the Battle of Toba-Fushimi, and ended with the bitter surrender of the government of Hakodate to the Empire of Japan. From what I'd later been told, following the surrender, Soma had been given a sentence and transferred to a remote island called Hachijojima. Okay, so I was wondering if they were gonna do, like, if he did actually get executed, if we would see that in this ending. But it seems like, you know, historically this was Soma's fate, so... Oh, that's kind of a relief to me. I had already accepted this, but... there was a chance neither of us would ever speak together again. His absence left a bigger hole in my heart than I could have ever imagined. It felt futile to dwell on what could have been, but... how couldn't I? My love burned too brightly not to feel scorned by the regret in what could have been. Where did I go wrong? I tore myself apart asking, and I spent my days inhabiting an idle fantasy, letting life pass me by without thinking much of it. Interesting. Him telling her to move on, she stayed stagnant, but when they made a promise to be there for each other, she went and, like, went to Dr. Matsumoto, studied more medicine, kept herself busy. My girl. Is that the end? If that's the end, that's very unsatisfying. It's just very open-ended, because it's like... well, why don't you track him down? He's gotta get out of there at some point. Hint, 3 years from now. Oh, girl. That's an odd one. That unrequited love ending didn't stick quite for me. It was sad that they didn't even have their last night, but the fact that he's still alive and she's still alive, like, there's still opportunity there, guys. Come on. Come on. big dummies. Oh well. That wasn't as heartbreaking as I thought it was going to be. Some sadness, but not too bad. Just as a side note, while I'm waiting for the credits to go through, I was thinking about Miki, as I often do. And I feel kind of bad that he got underutilized in this. This is the only one where he continues through. I felt like they used Takada to the absolute max and beyond what they could have done with him for Hachiro's route. But Miki is just really there's a lot of afterthought stuff in Soma's route, just because so much emphasis is put on him overcoming survivor's guilt and realizing his purpose and becoming the mature, honorable chief that he becomes by the end of his route, which is all done very well. But then there's a lot of little niggly things that are just kind of there. Like Chikage just kind of shows up and is like, okay, yeah, because I was a big part in the beginning, so here I am. And then Miki had more of a part, I guess, just because he and Soma had similar feelings of not having a place, really. So that was okay. That was actually well done. I just want more from my boy, is what it really comes down to. Alright, and I blathered through that long enough that the credits are over, and that wasn't such a bad unrequited love ending after all. So, I think we had the normal amount of bad endings this time around. Let me just check. Yep, we got all 4, one for each chapter, so we'll start up on that next time, guys.